Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. My name is Colin Higgins, and even though I wasn't part of the family by blood, I was there most of the time. They lived in Snellville, and I was lucky enough to know Alan and get to know his family through. They would have these Christmas parties, and they affectionately called it the Clampett Christmas. And luckily enough, I was invited to those, and I got an opportunity to come. And one time during the gift exchange, I got some ice trays, right, which was my Christmas gift. Anyway, so I still use those, and every time I'm getting my ice out, I think about Alan. Earlier today, I wrote something for Karen about her dad, and I'll just read it. That way I don't have to stumble on my words too much. Just take a second here. All right. I'll just go ahead and read it to you here, folks. So I just wanted to take a moment to drop you a quick line, as I thought it was appropriate today to think about Mr. Covington. I know I didn't grow up in the same house with Alan, but I was there a lot, and I'm pretty thankful that I got to share the unique experience of his personality. And more so than a lot of other friends and things like that who didn't get to spend as much time at the house as I was able to, thankfully. I'm thinking about him today with the memorial service. I was struck by a few memories I wanted to share really quick. I said Alan had a definite sense of humor. Everybody's talked about that with the smile, and he had this infectious laugh. But he was always laughing. I don't remember a lot of his words that he was saying that were funny, but I remember him laughing. And he was laughing at the jokes that he knew himself. He was laughing at his own jokes. He was laughing at situational comedy. If you knew Alan, you definitely know what I'm talking about. I remember many times throughout growing up when he was laughing, I really didn't understand exactly the joke. And I would look at Pam.
We didn't either.
And I go on to talk about that Stephen or Chris, I would find them smirking and raising their eyebrow at me in agreement that they didn't really understand that. But I will tell you one thing, that everyone always ended up eventually laughing. And Alan had that ability to bring that laughter together and just share that. And everyone, I think, that knew Alan would agree that definitely that was true. One of my best memories of Alan was when I was young. I was at their house, and he was on the phone with his brother, and he was pulling his leg on the telephone, and he was telling him that Alan had gone out and bought himself a race boat, and it had a 250 horsepower outboard engine on it. And sure enough, he was talking about, and I won those races, and you know what I did with that winning money? I got me 250 horsepower. And he went on to talk about it, and eventually it was, I got 3. And I think as Chris and I were talking, he got up to where it was 7 or 8 motors, and finally there started to be kind of this doubt that maybe it's not 100% the truth. But it was funny. It made a big impression on me. Just a couple more things to share real quick. Like I said, Alan always laughing. He had this thing about working really hard too, not only his job, but around the house. And I was mistaken. I thought that Alan always did the yard work, but Pam, just a few minutes ago for me, she did the yard work at Crystal Brook Lane, not Alan.
Well, until he retired, then he did.
But when they moved into Centerville Rosebud Road, the house they're currently living in, I came by to see Chris. And Alan was standing outside with his yard gloves on. And when he saw me, I remember him grinning and saying, "I'm glad you're here." Thanks for help. And sure enough, we didn't do a lot of standing around because Alan had this master plan. And you couldn't really see it, or he couldn't communicate it, but it was in his mind. And he was issuing orders and telling us what to do. He was pretty good at that. And he would be talking about this idea that he had. Well, we didn't end up doing any hanging out. We ended up working for Alan all day. And it getting dark, he's got these big pine trees, and he said, "We're going to pull those trees down." Well, I'd never seen anybody do that wasn't a professional tree remover. And I was a little doubtful as to whether this whole thing was going to be safe and possible. But he told me something at that moment when I had my doubt. He said, "If you want something done right, you guys do it yourself." And I shared that many times with a lot of people, and it's always stuck in my mind. Matter of fact, I used to tell my family, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And that was from Mr. Covington. the last thing I wanted to say, well, everybody talked about all his Christmas lights and all that kind of thing. Well, he took everything very, very seriously. And there are other memories. We were talking about that Alan took, he had these video games. And if you got the Farmville request, you know he took that seriously.
Yes.
But he also took many other things seriously. He had a NASCAR game that he would play at his house. And he built himself a NASCAR spec steering wheel because he wanted it to be more realistic and set up the buttons ever exactly right or exactly where they should be. And he would spend hours, 10 to 12 hours a day, just to set up the car just perfect to run the race. Not even running the race yet. And if he came in second in that race after 200 laps, he'd turn it off and start over and do it again. Someone wrapped my car. I have to change it. So, that's another thing that I wanted to share about that. And one last thing was when we were younger, I took this young guy right here, accidentally hurt him. Wasn't really an accident. I hurt him real bad, and he was bleeding quite a bit. And this was their next door neighbor. And so this young man's dad, who was very, very upset about that, came over to the house, and I was scared to death. I thought I was going to be in a lot of trouble. And it was Alan who, you know, told me, hey, this is not a big deal. It's all right. Just go on in the house. And then he had words with Mr. Smith and telling them, hey, what are you going to do? They're just kids, you know. And it was Alan that came sort of to my rescue there and made that big impression on me. So I just wanted to share that with you about my personal time that I got to spend with Alan. I was so thankful. He was such a unique person, and I know he loved you guys so much. I just want to share that.
Thank you.
Thank you.